Hello and welcome in the... Wait. I'll try to be as YouTubeish as I can. I'm so excited to welcome you in the second sound design challenge on this channel, which is brought to you by me and the sound effects guy. Was it YouTubeish enough? Just as a reminder, we did our first sound design challenge with Johnny Mac, and it was all about redesigning the sounds from the Ratchet & Clank video game trailer, and it was done only with the bathroom sounds that we recorded for each other. And if you don't want to miss any stuff like this and the other videos I make, just click the subscribe button. So this time the rules are the same, but the terms have changed, of course. This time we are redesigning a scene from 1986 Aliens movie, and we are doing it only with the sounds we recorded for each other using our cars. So let's see the original scene. Now we should give a shot to Shawn to tell us more about his work and approach.
So the first thing that I noticed was that the raw files that I had gotten were relatively quiet. Even when I pulled them into Pro Tools, I noticed that the wave files were very, very tiny. And so my initial thought was, I am just gonna have to do so much clip gain with all of these different files. But once I started kind of blending them together, I realized that it was actually a blessing in disguise, because then I had a lot of headroom to work with and I could really change dynamically the different levels for the sounds that I was blending together. So what I was dreading at first ended up being really great. This is actually a really tough question because I had so much fun with the whole thing. I love doing these challenges. And so one of the things that really stood out to me was the actual recording process, because I had never recorded Foley sounds for my own vehicle before. And so it was really neat getting to sit there and look around my car, because, when I'm driving, I don't really think about, that makes sound or that makes sound. But sitting there and just having to come up with the right camera angles for all the different things and find creative ways to record them and use them, that was super fun. The other part that was a lot of fun for me was just the sheer anticipation of waiting on the files, because I didn't know what I was going to get. I didn't know what I was about to be working with. Were they going to be garbage? Were they going to be really great? What different types of sounds was I about to receive, and how could I use them? So that anticipation was definitely a lot of the fun part of this challenge. So I think the hardest part was knowing exactly where the sounds came from. And as I was manipulating these sounds, knowing that they came from a car, I was trying to manipulate them to sound not car-esque and more robotic. But every time I would play through, no matter what I did processing wise, or no matter how many different layers I put on there, my brain just kind of kept going, yep, that's a motorized mirror, or yep, that's a window, or a car door shutting. And so it was really hard to pull away from that, and I kept over analyzing everything, and it just made it really difficult. So of the sounds that I was sent, the vast majority of them were short transient sounds, which worked really well for like the footsteps and things like that. But then when it came to the arm movements, that, you know, the arms go up at the beginning, or, you know, the movement of the legs between each footsteps, I only had a little bit to work with, which was primarily the window and the motorized mirror. And so I would have liked to have had either some more variations to work with, or just something else that kind of gave a more sustained vibration type sound that I could have used to make those movements. The plugin that I used the most was definitely the stock Pro Tools pitch shift. You know, while the sounds that I was given were very high quality, they weren't very heavy. And, you know, I'm trying to create the sound of this heavy robot moving around. So pitch shift came in handy to kind of pull that down and just make them sound like a heavier sound. So for this project, I started by dumping everything into Pro Tools. And the first thing that I wanted to start with was creating an ambience for the environment. So going through the sounds, I found that the trunk sound that I was given actually fit perfectly. And I threw 2 different layers of reverb on it and kind of strung it out a little bit, and it just made the perfect ambience. For the big door going up, the car mirror motor actually worked perfect for this. I reversed them, layered it on top of itself, and pitch shifted some of those layers. There's a couple other effects on there as well, but it just made this perfect big blast door going up. So for the arm movement, I actually ended up using the exact same mirror sounds. I just added different effects and layered them a little different so that they didn't sound exactly the same as the blast door, but they were from the exact same sound effects. Now for the leg movement, because I didn't have a whole lot of mechanical sounds to work with, a lot of the sounds that I got were transient. I had to revert back to the car mirrors yet again. But as you can see on the screen, there are a ton of different effects on the leg movement. And I went through, and while they all do have the same plugins on them, they're all pitched just slightly different. That way it kind of creates a variation. And then if we scroll down here to the actual footsteps themselves, a lot of them were actually perfect. The car door shutting was perfect in and of itself for a metal impact for each of those footsteps. But if you want to hear how it all actually sounds together, well, you're just gonna have to come over to my channel.
Yeah, this time you have to go to Shawn's channel to watch and hear his version, but he has got some cool stuff there, so enjoy and subscribe. And now mine. So what do you think? Are cars a good source for robotic sound design? You can share your thoughts in the comments. And again, I think this series can show you that any source is good for any sounds. You must use your imagination and skills. But let's focus on the imagination. Of course, we did an explanation videos to tell you more about how we did it. And you can find them below and should be somewhere here. Or not, I don't know. If you haven't subscribed to the Sound Effects Guy channel yet, this is the perfect time to do it. And last but not least, if you do the sound design and you have a YouTube channel and you want to participate in the next episode of the Sound Design Challenge here on my channel, just write me an email or use the comment section to tell me about it. And see you next time.